Alright, so thanks to combat achievements, I've been meeting a lot of new players who are interested in all things combat. A decent number of people have been joining my community Discord, and we've been able to form some strong teams there. It's not really that active, so don't join it expecting to easily form teams or with the expectation that it's some kind of high level or heavily PvM oriented server. It's really just a low-key server that I use to chat with my pals. It's also not the point of this video, I'm only mentioning it as it serves the narrative of this story. This is the story of how I got 4000% Enrage at Zamorak. Prior to combat achievements, I had only ever done 1000% Enrage for the rune score, and I left it at that. Pushing 10% Enrage at a time was always really tedious, and while I've always been confident that I'm capable of learning to do high Enrage kills, 75 to 100 hours of pushing 10% at a time is not even remotely appealing to me. One of the players that I met recently thanks to CAs wanted to attempt the Zamorak Master speed time with me, so we tried out an hour of that, and I started to get a sense of what would be expected of me, but I was not up to par yet. That said, this player, Midori, asked me if I was interested in trying out a duo 2000% Enrage kill. Knowing that I still needed that as one of my master tasks, I'd be foolish to turn that down. So I put aside the ranged gear and got my cozy Crypt Bloom and a Hellhound out, and then we got to trying 2000% Enrage. Since recording this, I've improved quite a bit at Zamorak. I got inspired to start solo pushing, and I actually finished 2000% solo Enrage recently. But you can tell from watching this that I was completely clueless. I couldn't reliably tell you what the special attack order was after the third pad, I wouldn't know how to kill a witch quickly or properly take advantage of the adrenaline refund with each pad. It was very much a situation where I'm just trying to do whatever damage I can, and if Midori gives me any advice, that's what I'm going to do. Midori made it very easy for me, telling me just to use Devotion and Intercept whenever they got the Adrenaline Cage special attack, and that they would use Intercept on me during the Chaos Blast attacks. Other than that, I'm just playing reactively, trying to stay alive and offer whatever damage I can. It took a little while for me to get used to the amount of damage that I was taking, and it took 2 failed P7 attempts before I finally did the ranged rotation well enough to get a kill. I still probably did it improperly, but essentially it boiled down to using Natural Instinct, Death Spore Swiftness plus Incendiary Shot, Bulk Spec, ECB, Rapid Fire, and then Debo, SGB, Debo. I was super pumped to have gotten that kill. Up until this day, I thought that grinding group Enrage was something I would probably never get around to doing. So that was an awesome chance to get some experience and even get a kill. At this point, I was just super happy to have another master task done. I'm one step closer to that huge goal of completing the full master tier of combat achievements. I was ready to call it a night after such a huge win, and Midori says this: "Now 4K? I'm very surprised, honestly. I was already really happy just getting an invite to the 1K speed practice, let alone ending up with a successful 2K kill, and now here's a chance to go for gold? Absolutely, I'm going to say yes to that." I mentioned a second ago that I was glad I was able to do this in a duo. It's probably fair to say that I wasn't 50% of the team, even though it was a duo. I was definitely punching a little bit above my weight class here, and I have no illusions that I definitely got carried. But even if I was only 30 to 40% of the team here, it felt good to be able to do this feat in a duo versus a bigger team size. In a bigger team size, I'm sure it'd be easy for the team to say something like just AFK in Infernus until phase 7 and then do random damage. Even if you die, you'll still get the title. That's cool and all, but you're really not playing the game at that point. Going in the duo, I felt like I experienced the mechanics and actually got to learn a lot from Midori, so that gave me some good confidence when it comes to the solo pushing Enrage in the near future. As it stands now, I'm still not looking forward to the 4K grind with just 10% Enrage gain at a time, and I'm really hoping for those Enrage pushing changes sooner rather than later. But after this whole experience, I had a lot more belief that it'll be more manageable than I previously anticipated. Anyway, long story short, 4K was definitely another big step up from 2K, and it took another couple of hours to get this kill. I'd like to think that I was doing pretty well in the early phases, but I really started struggling later in the kill, particularly in phase 6. That was definitely the most painful part of the fight. And on this successful kill, I actually got Rod procced as well, which I learned clears in the phase 6 to 7 transition. So that's a bit lucky for me. That could be a good backup strategy for any solo pushing as well, to wear the Ring of Death and know that you'll still have a shot on phase 7 if you activate it on phase 6. This is the third time we made it to phase 7 at 4000% Enrage, which was kind of funny since it was third time lucky at 2K as well. When we got to this phase 7, I told Midori that it would be funny if this was the kill that we actually were successful on, as it was really scuffed from my side. Not only did I Rod proc on phase 6, but I also ran out of water runes for the last 2 phases. But at the end of the day, this was my 4K kill, and I am really happy with that. There's a trend among high-level players that share their PvM on YouTube where they might upload a really strong kill with 1 or 2 very small mistakes and end up writing 4 or 5 paragraphs bashing the whole kill and heavily downplaying the effort or the execution. That, or you'll even have players upload world record kills and still do the same thing, as if it's illegal to make mistakes when playing a video video game, or the potential shame in the comment section will just be too much to bear. I'm not going to do anything like that. There's obviously some mistakes here, but for me, this is a good kill, and I'm really happy with it. It was something that was very challenging, and I did give it my best effort to learn and to perform it. So for me, this is a really nice in-game accomplishment. Personally, when I look back at the footage, I definitely see a lot of room for improvement, and having the videos makes it easier to see what specifically I can actually do better. But even when there are some bigger mistakes that might look pretty goofy, it really doesn't invalidate the kill or the experience in any way. I also don't feel the need to erase the footage from existence and only upload it whenever it makes me look like a perfect player. Heck, even half of my Grandmaster guides have been done faster by better players. But I'll still make them, and I'll still upload them because I find it fun. At the end of the day, I'm just playing the game for fun. I make videos for fun, and it's really not any deeper than that. Going for 4000% Enrage was very fun, and thanks to Midori, I got it done. It was really nice to go with a player like that who's highly experienced, patient, and made learning approachable, so big shout out and thank you again if you ever see this. This is going to be a really cool RS memory for me now. So there you have it. That's the story of how I got 4000% Enrage at Zamorak in a group. Now it's time for me to do it in a solo. So subscribe to stay tuned for that video and all of my other combat achievement related content. I'm going for Grandmaster, and I'm making videos about every single combat achievement in the game. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.